Hey, all right, and welcome back to another wonderful day here at MSA. So glad to see you. Glad you could be here. You know, today we're going to talk about a little something that not necessarily all news and, oh my gosh, Donald Trump hit with another fine and Fannie Willis is doing this and all this and that and Joe Biden forgot this or fell downstairs again or something of that crazy nature. That's not where we're going today. Today we need to brush up on something that's really important. It's very important going into an election year, which we're already in, but it's very important stuff. And what it has to do with is policy versus practicality. And you're going to see what I mean by that in just a second. Because as usual, we're going to roll a clip. Before we get into all this, do us a favor. You know, if you followed us on Rumble, you're not going to see a whole lot of videos of us out there because we haven't been on Rumble that long. If you see us on YouTube, we've got tons of videos on YouTube. The difference being is YouTube, we're getting censored heavily, and Rumble, we're actually being able to be seen by people. So do us a favor, hit that follow button, like, share, subscribe. Definitely share. We need your help growing this channel. And I'm not going to keep going on and on about it, but you know what? You know how this works. You share, people see it. Sometimes the things get suppressed that we need to hear the most. And others don't hear it when they don't even know it exists. Okay, so now we got this clip coming up. And why am I playing this clip? It's got Congressman Higgins in it. And Higgins is talking to this gentleman who's currently the senior advisor on at the border for, he works at the border, okay? He's doing the customs and security, which I don't know what he does because the border's wide open. So anyway, not to be a jerk about that. Let's not get off the subject here because the point is what they're going to talk about. Now remember, policy versus practicality. That's where we're headed with this today. Be right back in just a second.
Mr. Hauser, your former chief of staff for ICE, former deputy chief of staff at DHS, senior advisor at Customs and Border Protection. Is that correct? It's
yes, sir.
In your background?
Yes, sir.
Were you ever a cop, sir, or are you an administrator?
No, sir. Military officer, but no, sir.
Ever held the hand of an American as their life left them from violent crime or drug overdose?
Sir, I was deployed in combat in Afghanistan in 2015.
Roger that.
Yes, sir.
But on the streets of America, have you held the hand of an American or held him in your arms and prayed with him while his life left his body?
No, sir.
Thank you very much. You see, this is the problem, America. You got senior advisors to this liberal administration that we've got in our White House that's given advice based upon, very respectable backgrounds, but it's not from the street. They don't get it. We got 300,000 Americans dead from opioid overdose in the last 3 years. It's insane. The wave upon wave of violent crime hitting communities in our country has never been touched by that kind of crime before. We have laws in this land for a reason. Enforcing the law at the border is like executive branch 101. That's where the executive responsibility really begins. If you can't secure the border, if you're going to wave in millions and millions and millions of migrants, quarter upon quarter, month after month, year after year, then you have totally failed the American people when it comes to the sovereignty of our country. There's no escaping that, my brother.
Okay, you saw the clip. Now the clip, what's important in that clip is when Higgins he has the attention of the gentleman and asks him some questions. And the guy, he asks him, very dramatically asks him, have you ever had to hold somebody while they're losing their life on the streets of America or, dying from a drug overdose or something of that nature? It's pretty dramatic. And the guy says, no, but I was a soldier, in Iraq in 2015. The reason Higgins responds the way that he does is because there's a difference when you're in a war setting versus when you're in a homeland setting, okay? And I say it that way very specifically because when you're in a war setting, bad things happen all around you. You have to be on alert all the time. When you're in a homeland setting, man, you're thinking about food, going to work, everything but something bad happening where, somebody's showing up and starting to, want to hurt people and things of that nature. I won't get into the graphics of all that, but you know where I'm going with it. The main point that Higgins brings up that I thought was very impressive was the fact that you have people with impressive backgrounds, but no street knowledge. Why does he bring that up? I remember a time where there was a lot of people that were complaining that they didn't have enough work because of the fact that everybody's getting hired with all these degrees, even though these other people had years of experience. So I'm going to ask you a question since you're the viewer. If you're getting a concrete poured, right? Do you want the guy that's got the degree out there trying to get your concrete down on the ground, or you want the guy that knows what he's doing? You can pick it up and feel it in his hands and feel if it's ready to go or not. Knows grade, understands it, knows how to smooth it out properly. You want the guy that read the book. Which one do you want? See, and I say that not to take anything away from people that have degrees at all. I admire people's commitment to higher education. I really do. But I also admire people that have furthered their careers by getting hands-on, getting in depth, and getting growing that knowledge base until they get to a point where they're in, management and above, and possibly their own, boss, which is great. But see, running our country, we seem to keep getting people with impressive backgrounds, but no practicality. And that's where we're getting off base here. It's where we keep stepping off to the side and going, what's going on with this over here? And why are they going after that policy over there? And why do we have to do all this now? And all, where you got a lot of people standing here going, what is going on around here? Like everything is getting off the chain. And it's because of policy, not practicality. You have to know how our country's supposed to run. You don't enforce policy. You hear so much of it, of teaching things to children in school that are way above their, age bracket and all these things. And whether you agree or disagree, it doesn't matter. It's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the fact of, are they ready for that or not? Is our country ready for such huge change or not? You're talking about all these electric cars and all this other stuff. Have you seen what's happening in other countries where people are digging for cobalt with their bare hands? I mean, if you haven't, take a moment and find some of that footage, and it'll change the way you feel about completely going to all EVs. The demand for batteries right now and the minerals that go into them is killing off other parts of the world. People are working themselves to death, and it's not all ran by a machine in mining like you see here in the U.S., because we have OSHA regulations that make sure that we do things a certain way. See, because that policy like that comes from the practicality of the knowledge of seeing people get hurt and injured over time and what caused it and how we can eliminate those injuries by changing the policies a little bit to add safety, which is not happening with the batteries, minerals that we're mining in other countries at alarming rates. See? That's where I'm talking about policy versus practicality. I know I'm getting up on a soapbox and all this kind of stuff, but it's really important. Now, I'm going to roll another clip real quick. It has to do with Donald Trump, and he's talking about practicality as well, about the first time he ran versus the second time and what the difference is and how it's going to affect you, me, and everybody else out there if he wins the presidency. So let's go ahead and roll this other clip. You haven't done it yet, hit that follow button. Make sure you tap the video so it's live in front of you. It's not just rolling. And share it, please. Anyway, be right back. Watch this clip.
You faced a lot of internal opposition in your first term. Individuals who you believed really didn't have your same agenda, were not advancing your agenda, whether it was pulling troops out of foreign countries or other programs. So how would you guard against that? in a second term? And would there be any people you would pull back from your former term in office who you might bring back to the cabinet?
We had a lot of great people. Lighthizer. I mean, there were so many, because you talk about our trade. We would just kill it on our trade. We had a lot of great people. I won't mention, but I could mention 20 names just right off the cuff. But we also had some that I wouldn't have used. The difference is, when I was elected, I was in Washington 17 times in my entire life, and I never stayed over. I wasn't a Washington person. So I had to rely on, in some cases, rhinos, in some cases, well-meaning rhinos, but they were recommending people. And some of the people I had, I wouldn't have used again. And now I know everybody. I know the good ones, the weak ones, the strong ones, the incompetent ones, the very smart ones that people don't know how smart they are. You know, those are the ones we like the best. But the fact is, I know the people now really well. Because, you know, I won. I was a businessman. If you ever look at the charts, 92% of the people that became president were politicians. The other 8% were generals. So I was neither.
You hear that? I know everybody now. I know who's a rhino. If you don't know what a rhino is, it's R-I-N-O, not R-H-I-N-O. It's R-I-N-O. It stands for Republican in name only. That's what that stands for. And he says, now I know what a rhino is, you know, who the real one is, and all these different things. I know who the people are. But what does he mean by that? Does that mean that he knows how to be more cautious about what he does? Or does that mean that he knows how to better pick the people within his cabinet and the people that work within those different branches of our government in order to be more effective towards the outcome on us? See, that's what he's talking about. That's what makes a great leader versus just an okay average leader. See, average leaders, honestly, they want to make everybody happy. They want to make everything all better. And what ends up happening is you get disasters along the way, right? Look around you. You might not see it in your city, but guess what? Other cities are being gravely affected by everything that's happening, especially with the border and the immigrants and the crisis. You know, they were just showing this one video earlier today where this hotel, these people came in with a camera and they tried to videotape what's going on inside. And the two people that were in there were like, oh, no, you can't do that. You guys got to leave. And they're like, but this is a hotel. And they're like, no, it's closed now. And they're like, what do you mean it's closed? And they said, well, it's closed. And so they were like, well, but this is full of people. And they're like, yeah, no, it's not to the public anymore and you need to go. Well, anyway, come to find out that particular hotel, with the number of units that it has in it, at $200 a day per room, that's just the average of the rooms, okay, is $7.8 million a month that we're spending to house illegal immigrants there. Okay? Is the policy versus practicality? $7.8 million going to one hotel. Do you think that they normally get that on an average basis? That every one of their rooms are full and that they're guaranteed payment? Doubtful. But see, policy that isn't seriously implemented, it's just to blanket over a crisis because we're trying to make everybody happy. But then where's that coming from? Who's it going away from? Where's that, just in that one instance, where's that $7.8 million coming from that it should have been going to? Where is it? Who's it affecting? You, me, everybody else involved. See, that's the recklessness of policy versus practicality. And there's a lot of that going on. So to be honest with you, everybody thinks that, oh, you're just on the Trump, march and the bandwagon and all that. I never said that. What I've always said is I'm into what's fair and what's right and what makes sense for this country. See, when you see the little flag on my shirt, I wear that with pride. I don't just wear it for the video. I wear it with pride because I love this country. I have family members that sacrificed a lot so I could sit in front of this camera and talk to you about policy versus practicality, about freedoms, about what's truly going on and why our country means so much to us. See, because right now we're not feeling the effects of all of this that's going on because Biden's currently in office. Watch what's going to happen as time goes on. And I'm not trying to scare anybody, but watch what's going to happen as time goes on. And we still have all these illegals in our country. There's a lot of them. I promise you there's a lot of them that are here on good faith, and they're good people, and they just want to do right. And there's a handful, well, more than a handful, that hate this country and don't want anything to do with it and want to mess it all up. If the right policy had been stuck in place like it was originally when Joe Biden got here, our practicality on what would be happening right now wouldn't be this crisis of the border, as they call it. I don't call it a crisis because crises can be prevented. Some. Either way, do us a favor. Like, share, and subscribe. Add some comments in there. Tell us how you feel about that. I think Donald Trump's the right guy for the job because, you know what? Look at all the stuff they put this guy through, and you can't break his spirit. And he is not full of crap. He isn't talking, oh, I want to be president, all that, because he needs to fill his pockets with a whole bunch more stuff. He came with plenty of money. Now they're trying to take all of his money away from him, but he started this with plenty of money. 92% were politicians before they became president. 8% were generals before they became president. Why is he different? Because he's a businessman. And what do businessmen know how to do? Make things better and run things more efficiently and effectively. They're good at it. Most of the businessmen that I know are really good at it. And they're not into burning people. They want to do what's fair and what's right and what the long-term effect is going to be for everyone involved to make it all better. So anyway, like, share, subscribe. I hope you're having the best day, night, whatever it is, wherever you're at. And trust me when I say I do love each and every one of you. And I hope that you come back and see us again real soon. We're going to have a lot more coming out. So you take care and we'll see you soon. Bye.